Get your tickets now for the 23rd annual edition of the OUTshine LGBTQ+ Film Festival happening April 23rd to May 2nd. Don't miss our incredible grand opening drive-in event followed by 10 days of non-stop films from here and all around the world that you can watch at home. Watch trailers and get your tickets at OUTshineFilm.com now.
Welcome to OUTshine Virtual Film Festival, our Miami edition. I'm Jen Kritz, the board vice chair, and we have the extreme honor to have the filmmakers and cast from the feature film Tova here at OUTshine. Please welcome Zaida Bergroth, our director, Alma Kustri, TOVE. She'll correct my horrible pronunciation of her last, Kustri. Is that better?
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, Eva Putro, who's the screenwriter and also plays Maya, as well as Krista Kosonen, who plays Vivica. No Mary Smiths here. I'm so happy to see all of you, and we're so excited that your incredible film has been brought to OUTshine. We're completely honored. My first question is for Zaida. Did you worry in making this film, which deals so honestly with Tova's fluid sexuality? Because Tova is a national treasure and it is a biopic.
Well, actually, that wasn't, one of my concerns. But I was nervous about making this film because, as you said, Tova really is a very loved artist here in Finland and in other places. She has a huge fanship, for example, in Asia, and she's very well known in Europe. But I don't think, for example, in US, people know too much about her. But I hope this film, helps people to find her work and get to know her more. But sexuality thing isn't worrying me at all. People here in Finland knew that she had a very long and wonderful relationship with graphic. But it was interesting to try to tell about her earlier life because that's something that people really didn't know too much about how she struggled with her artist identity and I also believe that this love story between Tove and Vivica is something that people are really interested in.
Absolutely. And how much actually was true? How did you do your research on this and create this script, Eva?
Hello. Yes. How much was true? I guess everything is true in some way. I mean, I did a lot of research, of course, but I needed to this story like for a film from all I got to know about her. So I would say that the heart of the film is 100% like true, but of course I needed to create some scenes and some things to make the story whole.
Eva, how did you get attached to this film? How did you get the idea to start writing it, or were you hired to write this? How did that come to be?
Actually, I don't know, it just came to me one summer and it just hit me that we don't have a film about this wonderful person, and I'm a great fan of like female interesting female characters. So I just thought that I would need to start writing.
How did Zaida come to get involved with this as well?
Well, I think Eva had worked with the script already for quite a long time. And then I was approached by Helsinki Filmi, with whom I had worked before, this production company. And yeah, they asked me, they thought that I might be the right director for this project. And yeah, I was really glad that they approached me. And then it started in 2017.
And how did you pull together this beautiful cast? I mean, Eva, I know you play the best friend in it, which I'm curious to hear, because you're a very accomplished actress. All of you are very, very accomplished. So I think it's so interesting that you're the writer. I'm curious how you became involved as an actor as well, Eva, and then I'm curious after that to hear how Alma and Krista got attached.
Are you asking?
Yeah. No, you can answer also if you want. Yes, when we were working together with Eva on the script and talking about it, it was clear that it would be nice for her to have a role in the film also, because I of course knew that she has acted for many years herself, and so that was like more or less like a done deal that she would be involved. And then with Alma, we had a long casting process, and I have apologized to Alma for that, because it must have been painful. But it was a Finnish and Swedish co-production, and there were many people and producers and financiers involved. So there were many opinions, so it had to be a really like thorough casting process, and everybody had their say in it. But I'm so glad that, you know, Alma accepted the role, and she's absolutely fantastic in it. And the Krista I had worked with before, and yeah, as well, amazing actress. So, and Alma and Krista knew each other from theater stages, so they had a lot of respect for each other and each other's work, I think. And it was a perfect combination. I'm a very happy director.
Well, there's such amazing chemistry between Alma and Krista. And it's that love story that you want to happen, were it not for their, you know, the way that they are, especially Krista. Alma, tell me, what was it like for you to prepare yourself to play this role, which is so complicated, and yet you're worried about disappointing an audience who has an expectation of what Tova might be like. How did you deal with that, and how did you prepare?
Thank you for your questions. Well, it's such an honor to play Tove Jansson, and a huge task for an actor to play such an interesting and multi-leveled and multi-talented person. I think the first thing to get rid of was actually the expectations. And we talked a lot with Zaida about this, how to deal with it, because the expectations were there. And it was, as Zaida said at one point, it's a mission impossible. We can only fail. And then she said, let's fail in an interesting way. And I love that. That was such a liberating thing to say, and it really freed something. I also had a talk with Sofia Jansson, who is Tove Jansson's niece, and she said, well, you know that people are going to be opinionated. They're going to have opinions. So just do as brave and beautiful work as you ever can, but be free to make an interpretation. And that was also kind of a key. I'm really happy that she gave her blessing to the project and me as well. And then there was just a lot of work to be done. I had to study a lot of like techniques, painting techniques, and all of these things that Tove mastered so very well. And I sat in the cellar of Helsinki Filmi a lot with our graphic designer Sandra Wahlbeck, and we were investigating Tove's handwriting and different kinds of techniques. And then I also had a couple of teachers actually in painting in oil on canvas. So there were a lot of artistry to dig into. And also her life, I was watching a lot of material, reading interviews, reading books, biographies, all Tove's material, and then studying her body language and imagination, and kind of getting into her inner world, that was something that we also talked a lot with Saida about. It wouldn't be an imitation. That wouldn't be that would somehow easily become superficial. So to get into the right state of mind was the most important thing, to somehow that it will come true from the heart and get to know Tove's heart as well as possible.
That sounds
So,
like
things
months.
like that.
Was it months of preparation?
Yes. But I was actually fortunate because I had played Tove on stage in 2017. So I have a couple of years experience with Tove now, and I'm very grateful for having that experience, because now I could just somehow dig into what I've done before. That all that research, but filming it comes so up close. So it's another thing, that the stage, how to master the techniques so they are really truthful and believable.
Well, Krista, your
Yes.
character has some of the best lines in the whole thing. And, you know, one of my favorite scenes, if I may, is where Tove pours her heart out to Vivica. And she finally says it out loud, "I love you like I've never loved anyone." And all Vivica can respond with is, "I love Paris." I mean, it's like, why not "I love peanut butter and jelly sandwiches"? You know, like, she just, I can't, it is such an incredible line, and you deliver it so well. And she's such a winner, and so much confidence, and yet, like, she knows who she is. What was it like playing a character like Vivica?
Well, it's interesting that you would mention that line, because I felt like it was actually a very difficult line, because I saw so many ways I could do it very badly. But I think it's also like you say that she's such a winner, which she is in a way. She was a really, really impressive woman and reformer in the theater scene in Finland, and she was a female boss, like in the theater before there weren't any, and she was like a really, really impressive person. But at the same time, I feel like there's a deep tragedy in her life. Of course, this is a lot just me interpreting her life, but she couldn't express her love openly or publicly, because in those days, for example, where this film is based, homosexuality was also, it was a crime, but it was also like a psychiatric disease in the Finnish law, and it makes me very sad, and it makes me very angry to think about that. But I feel like there's a big sadness in her life as well, because I feel like she couldn't really live her life openly the way that she would have, wanted. But she was definitely a very impressive person, and I didn't know that much about her, as much like Alma knew of Tove. And I have to say about Alma that I've known Alma almost 20 years, and I feel like she has prepared for this role her whole life. It's difficult to explain it, but in Finland, there's no one else who could have done it. It's like she is Tove. And so it was just a great pleasure to act with her. But I feel like there's always a big responsibility and a big pressure when you're portraying a real person. So it was a big challenge, but I also felt like exactly the way that Alma said, like, we can, are we gonna go, like, is this gonna be terrible? And but I guess it wasn't all bad, but it was very exciting. And I have to say, my big challenge was that I don't really speak Swedish. So doing this part in Swedish, that was a big challenge. And I had to do a lot of ADR afterwards, a lot of dubbing of my lines. but that was fun.
Krista, you're amazing.
She actually speaks Swedish, but yeah, but it was a really interesting role to get into.
You know, a lot of attention is given in the script to Tova looking for approval from her father. And of course, not to spoil how that arc ends, but it is just masterfully done. Eva, how was that, writing that? Is that something that you wanted to make a big arc? Or is that something that happened more organically?
I would say it was like one part of the interesting things that I wanted to handle in the film. But yeah, it was not meant to be like the most important arc, but it became one of the most important arcs anyway, and I'm very happy about it.
Well, and it seems like so much attention is given, not only, so you have the approval of the father, you have trying to figure out the sexuality, and Tova deals with a lot as she's navigating her way to what ends up being inevitable success. How did you choose to pick this part of Tova's life to portray?
I made the research of her. It was quite obvious to me that these years were the most challenging years for her in her artistic, like on her artistic way, or on her, like, it was just like very clear when I watched her life that between these like years she made her like most important decisions about what she is as an artist, and as a person. So it was like pretty obvious for me to choose period.
Tell me a bit more about the significance of so many of the dancing scenes. Zayed, was that something that you were pushing for?
I guess it was Chida's like invention. So Chida, please tell about it.
Yeah, well, we knew that Tove like the most important, or not the most important, but like life-sustaining, important, wonderful things. So it was obvious that we wanted to include that side of her character in the film, and dancing seemed very relevant and a good way to show that. So we rehearsed, we made some demos before we started the actual shoot, and we just improvised scenes with Alma, and we played music, and that was one of those important moments when some scenes really started to live in my mind, and I wanted to have them in the film. And for example, that scene when Tove dances after they have decided engaged with Aatos Virtanen is a lovely moment in the film. And it's always nice to try to tell about these complex feelings, and not underline them in any like simplistic way, but during that dance people can project what they want on Tove's character. And I think Alma did it beautifully, and we could somehow follow what she might be going through and how awfully complex that situation was for her. So yeah, we used dancing as a dramaturgic element, and it has its own little arc in the film. But I have to, the truth about the first scene, when the whole film starts with Tove dancing, the idea for that came from our editor's wife, actually, because beginnings in how to start a film and what is the first scene and how what kind of tone you want to set for the whole experience is so important. And we were struggling with that a little bit and trying different options. And then one morning I came to the editing room, and some of our wonderful editors said that, okay, my wife suggested that what if, and then we tried it out and it was very good. So it's a collaboration, this whole thing, filmmaking.
Well, and the best part of all is how it ends with the actual footage. How did you find that incredible footage of Tova dancing? Well,
it was used already, that footage in one of in a documentary, in a very good documentary made about Tove, and I think we all had seen it, and we actually looked at the way Tove danced with Alma, because we were trying to find a way for Alma to depict that, or like what is the right way for our Tove to dance. And we were studying original Tove's dancing, and then it somehow stuck with me, that scene. And then we tried it out in the editing room, and instantly I felt that, okay, this is so important to end the film with this joyous note of the original Tove, like winking her eye at us.
And Zaida, tell us about the poster behind you.
Yes, well, this Tove poster is made by Sandra Walbeck, our graphic designer, and Alma already mentioned her, and she was a very important part of our artistic crew, and she created all the graphics in the film, everything from the wine bottle etiquettes to Moomin drawings and whatever we needed. A wonderful artist. And she suggested this poster. We sat together with producers and Sandra, and we came up with this idea that what if Tove was dancing and the shadow of her was actually a Moomin troll, the shadow of a Moomin troll. And the idea sounded really nice, but I love the way Sandra did the actual design. I think it's a lovely poster, so it's lovely to look at it every day here at my office.
One of my favorite parts of the film is the part where Vivica and Tova are together, and Vivica is looking through Tova's artwork, and Tova gets very self-conscious of it, and it is really Vivica who really pushes her. First of all, I'm curious, Krista, what was it like playing that particular scene? And then I am curious to spread that around to all of you to see the importance of the trajectory from those moments.
Well, this whole movie was a wonderful experience to be in, to work with Zaida again and to work with Alma, because we have, like Zaida said, we've worked in the theater before, and it's just I trust Alma 100%, and I feel like there's a really good connection that I have with her. So it was really kind of really relaxed and easy, except of course for the Swedish lines that I had to really think about all the time. But it's also a wonderful scene, and I think the whole, there's the love story, but there's also this beautiful story about these two women artists who are supporting each other, because they really were. Vivica was the first one to actually direct the Moomin Trolls on a theater stage. So they really had this kind of, they inspired each other, and they supported each other. And I think that is really important to show, and it's really unique, and it, especially in those times, or I guess in not especially in those times, I guess in every time that women are supporting each other. So it was a really wonderful scene.
And is that, Eva, as you put that in there, is that completely correct that Vivica who really pushed Tova?
It was. What did you ask? Sorry.
Because it seems as though Tova doesn't have the confidence in the movements as she's creating them, and is so that authentic that it was Vivica who really pulls her forward with that.
I guess it was quite important for me to bring this element to this film, that it was actually not Tove's favorite way of creating. No, I can't say so, but the moving characters were the guilty pleasure for her, or it was not she wanted to be an art this painter first of all, and this becoming famous about those moving characters was surprise for her, and I wanted to bring this struggle to the film, and together with this important love story, it kind of just became so that I wanted to bring it just like Krista said that this lover who was hurting her was in the same time encouraging her, and I felt that this was something really beautiful, that the same person who was hurting was bringing something very beautiful and courage for her. I don't know if you understand what I try to say. But, yeah.
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
I think it's also really to me, when I found out that Vivica and Tove actually they were lifelong friends. That was really touching. When I heard that, I was like, wow, that is really special. That they had this passionate romance that lasted for a short period of time, but they stayed friends till the end of their lives. And I think that is really beautiful and special, and it shows that they had a lot of mutual respect.
Exactly.
Could I add something as well? I think Tove learned a lot about taking a fight from Vivica, and in this scene she also takes a fight. As I've understood and learned about Tove, she hated conflicts, but there are some moments with Vivica that there is such a passion that she also forces Vivica to listen and take her seriously, and this is something that she maybe avoids in other circumstances. And I think there Vivica was a very important person for Tove.
Wow, congratulations on being the best international film submission from Finland. What an incredible honor, and just amazing, for beautiful, extremely talented women right now. It's such an honor for me that you guys are here for our film festival, OUTshine. Please tell me, what is it that you wish for the audience to take away from this film? And let's go completely around. Let's start with Zaida.
Well, my wish is that the audience could relate to this world of Tove Jansson and her feelings, and I wish they feel that they shared something relevant together with other audience members and with our film. And I just wish that our film feels honest and intimate, and also brings joy.
Alma?
Well, I hope you might get infatuated by Tove's curiousness, and also the fact that Tove gives herself permission to be curious and to go wherever life takes her. It's not predetermined. That she gets surprised when she falls in love with a woman, but it's a very positive surprise, and suddenly the world is filled with more colors. And this is something, this passion about life, taking your life seriously, but also in a playful way. That is such a beautiful life philosophy. So this is something that might catch on.
Yeah, it's I guess, of course, we're so proud of Tove Jansson, so of course we want the whole world to know about her and her art. But like all those things that Jada and Alma said, and I think there's a French expression like joie de vivre or something, like the joy of life. And I feel like I'm hoping like people who watch this film, that they leave the cinema and they just want to go dance and drink alcohol and create beautiful art and express themselves in love and art. So that kind of things would be nice.
And what about you, Eva?
Yes, and maybe also the courage to listen to your heart and to live the life accordingly.
Well, again, thank you so much, all of you, for coming. It was such an honor meeting all of you today. We're so happy to have your film in our festival. We're going to end with a trailer of this incredible film, Tova, and we look forward to seeing all of you at the festival at another time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Det är länge sedan jag har sett dig i mål.
Jag tycker det är svårt just nu.
Det där är inte konst.
Jag tror att fröken Jansson leder mig vid näsan.
Jag tror att livet är ett underbart äventyr. Jag ska utforska alla dess kringelikrokar.
Har du någonsin kysst en kvinna? Vad är det här?
Det är morgon. Den är så kall så att hon rör vid fruset is. Tycker du om mina tavlor?
De är fina, men de där är speciella.
Jag har ingen annan man än du. Och jag har ingen annan kvinna än Vivica.
Du kommer väl på premiären?